Welcome to the AG News Show. I'm your host, Roberto Alvarez-Galloso, and we are here in another series of the Mental Health Forum with Sabrina Fallah. Before we continue with the Mental Health Forum, I want to make some big additions. Number one, the opinions. Hello, Sabrina. The opinions expressed are those who are being interviewed and myself. In addition, whatever happens, do not use this as an advice for psychiatry or medical reasons. Go ahead and if you have any problems, call your local emergency. Hello, Sabrina.
Hi.
For me, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here talking about the Mental Health Forum.
Yeah.
But before talking about the Mental Health Forum, I wanted to bring up the disclaimer. The disclaimer is that This should not be construed under any condition as medical or psychiatric advice, and that if there is any emergency, the people who have the problems should go to the emergency room either in the United States or in Canada or wherever they're hearing this. And that in addition to this should not be construed as mental health or medical treatment, as we are not physicians. This should also be construed as one day, if a mental health professional wants to come in as part of the mental health forum, they're more than invited. So they could give advice. Because this is just simply to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Everything else, treatment or emergency or whatever, the person who is seeing this and suffers from mental health must see their mental health professional or go to an emergency room.
Exactly.
Having cleared that, we were in the first part of the mental health forum about defining mental health and what is to be done concerning mental health. I'm inviting you, Sabrina, for whatever. I want to thank also Margie Happenings, the great Cuban actress Marilyn Romero and Gigi Gonzalez.
Oh.
I also want to thank them for coming at such a time to talk about mental health. I also want to congratulate the Guatemalan actress Geraldine Townsend for doing that. Now, Sabrina, concerning mental health,
Yes.
what can we talk about in mental health that we didn't talk the last time?
Wow, I was actually thinking about that today because I thought you might be asking me that question. Be nice to people when you meet them for the first time, or if you see someone who's struggling, see if they need any help, because some people are just mean to people and they don't know what they're struggling with. So just be kind. People need a lot of kindness around them, more than drama and arguing and stuff. So be kind.
This will probably be the subject that we'll be going to concerning this type of mental health forum. The idea of kindness. Recently, we've been seeing a lot of people. There was a time, or there should be a time in which people should have been nice to others, helpful to others. I could remember seeing a long time ago a program. I don't know if it was seen in Canada, but it was by Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I'm talking about in my first youth when I was like a 3-year-old or 4-year-old. And I'm 60. For those who do not know Mr. Rogers was a big personality. He was a Presbyterian minister who started a program called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for kids. He did it. I think he did it in the 50s.
Wait, yes.
What?
Yes, it sounds familiar. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers was the one in the 50s. He would come in with this cardigan sweater, the shoes, and he would have these different personalities. Yes. And he always stressed about the neighborhood, about being kind to others, being helpful to others.
I have seen some of it. Yes, it's very familiar. Yeah.
I saw him a long time ago in the 60s. And he still continued until the year 2000. But
See, yes. So definitely, I know it.
but that's another issue. I saw him when I was 3 years old, and I'm 60. But we're not gonna go in. We're not gonna go into age. We're gonna go into the lessons learned from Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers always stressed on the need to be helpful to others. Say hi. Be kind. Help someone in trouble. Be kind to your fellow person, to your fellow human being, because you don't know what they're going through, or they don't know what you're going through. Give a helping hand. And somehow we have lost it. We have lost it within these last years. We no longer have the respects of other people, even with their problems. Even the ones who ask for money or ask for food, we pass them by without nothing. I'm talking about here. But we've seen a lot of hostility recently, and this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen. It also affects the mental health negatively, not just the adult, but the child who is seeing this as well. We're not getting to this. Do you have any thoughts about the fact that we've lost what the righteous brothers once said? We've lost that love and feeling. Or like Mr. Rogers once said, we need to have it. How far have we gone into losing the love and feeling of helping our fellow person? And how we got very far from that to the point where we have become indifferent. And how can we get back from that indifference? And this is all over. This is all over. Even the Christians and all other religions go through it too.
I think the generation has changed because, when I was growing up, I was outside doing things with people, connecting with people. Now everybody's on their phones, and then social media. Now social media can be good and can be bad, but a lot of bad things happen online. The cyberbullying, the drama, people just picking on people for no reason. And the reason they do it online is because they don't show their face. So nobody can see them, but that hurts you the most because you can't see who it is. If you could see the person, at least you could confront them face to face. But if you can't, it's hard. So I think it's just the generation has changed, and a lot of people are not. I think people are afraid to stand up for themselves. I still have problems standing up for myself because I'm afraid if I do it, I'm going to get hit back. So, but I try to do it, but I'm afraid still. I'm still learning. At my age, I'm still afraid to do that. So, and it's okay, but you will learn to get through it. But I think just people now are just not caring anymore.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot.
Do their own thing.
I've been seeing that a lot.
Yeah.
I've been seeing it a lot. Like you said, the social media is really great. What is the positive part of the social media? We discover great artists like you, Sabrina.
The best thing about social media is what you find on the net that is true and that you want to see. The bad side of it is you meet somebody you think is nice, but then they turn on you.
Yeah.
And then they cause problems. So you have to be careful who you talk to online all the time.
Yeah, I do agree with you. But I was saying that the good part about social media is that you have many artists and everybody getting opportunities. You also have friendships that have been long frozen and they reconnect. I reconnected with my lost love, and now she and I are husband and wife. Marilia. That's a good part. The bad part, like you already said, the cyberbullying, the people who tend to take advantage of you, hurt you, make you feel bad. and they'll just simply throw you off the curb. The other negative part about social media, I don't know if you've been through it, but I went through it once last December. I was at the airport. I'm not going to name the airport, nor am I going to name the airline. I was at an airport and I was on my way to the Caribbean. I'm not going to mention the island either. There are many islands in the Caribbean, so I'm just going to let people guess.
Right. Yeah.
But in the airport, I was at the customs where you supposedly present your COVID card, the card that you had the COVID vaccine.
Right.
At that time. And the official didn't even look at the card, nor did he look at the passport. You had to go with the passport and the COVID card. He didn't look at it. He said, "Go ahead. I'm doing my 10 minutes of fame with TikTok." I said, this is dehumanizing. Then I went to the airport. I went to the gate where I was supposed to leave. Asked, "Is this the gate?" And the stewardess or the representative of the airline said, "Please don't bother me. This is the airline. This is the gate. Don't bother me. I'm doing my 5 minutes of fame with my TikTok."
What?
I'm not joking. Everybody at that airport was doing 5 minutes of fame with TikTok.
That's weird.
No, it's more than weird. It is rude. It's rude because most airports, unless you live in a very, 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 very small town, most of them tend to be very big, and to take a flight, you have to go through all the regulations, all the other things that you have to go through. You present your card. You're supposed to present your card and everything, and the official is supposed to take a look at the vaccination card, the passport card, or whatever, and say, "Okay, yes or no."
Yeah.
What did he do? "Oh no, go ahead. I'm doing my 5 minutes of fame."
So in a way, he's not caring about COVID.
Number one, he wasn't caring about COVID, was my interpretation. And number two, my interpretation was, I'm a passenger. I'm presenting this to him as a service for him, as a service for everybody. And he didn't care. He was just simply caring about his 50 minutes of fame. Otherwise known as me.
That's not.
Now the next part. That was the first part. The second part, I go to the area where I'm going to depart. I said, is this where I will be departing? This is a logical question that you would see like you would see in a program like Mr. Rogers going to the airport and, "Oh, is this the way, here's my passport and everything. Oh yeah, you're okay, go ahead." And then to go to the next one, "Oh, is this the flight for such and such? Oh yeah, let me help you here. Yes, this is the flight. Yes, you're on the right area. Go ahead and just enjoy your lunch or enjoy your supper, whatever." In my case, yes, this is the place to go. This is the place where we're departing. Now get out of here so I could do my 15 minutes of TikTok. That isn't weird. That is rude.
Why is he so into TikTok? I'm just.
He or she is just like, it's called the me generation. And this me generation has contributed also to the fact that we're not saying hi, we're not helping each other.
I'm surprised she didn't get fired for doing that.
It appeared that everybody in the airport were doing their 15 minutes of fame in TikTok.
So everybody was doing it, not just that person.
No, everybody. Even the restaurant I was going to, everybody was like.
Oh my God. Well, it's not polite when somebody asks a question to ignore them like that. It's not right.
This is really mental health issue, because you could have someone with a really big mental health problem blowing them off like that worsens
And
it.
exactly, and they're completely ignoring it. Yeah.
And you can't have that. I don't know why. I don't know what. But these are the little. They once said little things mean a lot. Yet this little thing of the in the airports. Could you expect that? I don't know.
I've never had that happen to me at the airport. They're so strict and they want to see everything before you get on the airline that they want to see every single thing that they look at it before you go on. I'm very surprised you went through that. They're very strict in the airport.
I maybe in Canada, but I remembered that they were very strict here in the United States. But this particular airport was very strict many times. But this time with everybody doing TikTok fever.
Yeah, I'm not obsessed with TikTok like that.
I don't even have a TikTok.
I only have it to post my interviews and my music. I'm not on it to do anything else really. I'm not using it as to make those video content. I don't even know how to do it, so it doesn't really matter.
You didn't lose anything.
But it's just another place to put my music. That's all I'm using it for.
Speaking about music, mental health and music, how has I've seen how mental health has also been improved with music, or even musicians when they feel something really terrible, they use the music to write the music and feel a lot better about themselves after writing the music. Have you ever felt like that, or do you know anyone who has felt like that after they've recorded a song or written something or recorded a video and they have felt better mental health wise?
Well, I did write a song about depression.
Yeah.
But at that time, I didn't know if I wrote it about Robin Williams, so I didn't know at that time if I was suffering it. But I just knew enough about depression to write the song. I don't know anyone per se, because a lot of people don't admit that they have depression. They're very scared. Like I would not go up to anybody and say I suffer this, I suffer that. I have to trust the person, because anybody can jump back and say, what? What's that? Like, some people don't even know what it is, and they have no understanding of that response can hurt you if they don't know what it is, because some people say, I don't believe in depression. Well, you haven't dealt with it. You haven't been through it. It's real. Real. Oh, it is real.
Of course, depression is real. Depression is real.
And there's different levels. Like, some people have extreme deep depression. Some people just have daily seasonal, or just seasonal depression, or some people have all year depression. So you just have to be nice, because just having depression just for a month, and then if you get out of it, it's good, but it's very difficult to have it and to handle it. So yeah, it is hard.
No, but well, of course you have many types of depression. Like we've already said, seasonal. In addition to seasonal depression, you also have depression in reaction to many life's events. Loss of a job.
Actually, depression starts for some people in winter because it gets darker quick, and the sun is not shining as long. So people feel more sad and get depressed during the winter time.
Of course.
So that's what I mean by seasonal, because of the time change, the sun isn't shining as long, so it gets dark, and then you're always feeling in the dark. But the darkness does not mean you're sad, but your mind thinks that it's sad. But that's the time I hear that a lot of people get depressed. It's during the winter time.
Yeah, many do get depressed during the winter because of the sun. The sun sets very early. You're less likely to get depressed with the spring and the summer, but in the winter, autumn and the winter, the depression can really set in. But there's also other types of depression. For example, when you lose a loved one,
Yeah.
when you lose a loved one, when you lose people who have been close to you, or a place that you once knew either no longer exists or changed.
Or also not just losing someone by having somebody pass, also losing a friendship
That too.
also can hurt you too, because you don't know why it ended, and if you had to make the move to walk away to help yourself in some way, that takes a lot of energy, trying to walk away from people you've known your whole life sometimes, not knowing why it ended. That can cause a lot of hurt inside. Because sometimes you blame yourself, but it's not your fault. But you blame yourself for, is it me? Is that why they walked away? But really, it's not you. It's just that they just changed their ways. Some people just walk out of your life for reasons. And I've been told by people, it's better not to know why somebody walked away, because it might hurt you to know the truth than not knowing it all.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just say, I'm not even going to think about why they left. I'm just going to move on and do my own thing.
The same, well, this is not just also the loss of friends. Thank you, really Ungrolo. Thank you for talking about your problem.
He's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining. I can only imagine what you've been going through. It's not just the loss of the two friends who you thought as brothers, but also this could happen in a marriage or even in a romance. When you lose a significant other, either through breakup or through death. You don't know why they broke up with you. The same with divorce. Like they once said, been there, done that. My first.
Oh gosh, yeah.
My first girlfriend right now is my second wife, and I'm glad she's back with me. My first wife, we had some understanding, but somehow, like there was a song of a long time ago that said we had a good thing going, but it's all over now. That day I could still remember how my first wife and my own daughter decided to do democratic elections and threw me out of the house. And I was going through a lot of I was going through a lot of hell at that time. It was not true. It was really a lot of hell. They almost wanted to leave me poor and destitute. I even thought it was my own fault. I thought it was even my own fault. Of course, later on, I found a church, went to God, and got baptized and all the other thing. But yeah. behind the finding God and getting baptized, no, I didn't get baptized like the regular thing that, hey, welcome to the club. I did a private traditional ceremony, but that's another issue. What I do remember.
So you believe in God?
Yeah, I do. But I do remember that before I went to church and everything, I pulled myself from under the depression.
Right.
Because I was ready. I was miserable. You had almost 20 years of marriage, and then poof, everything, they pull the rug from under you, your own wife, your own daughter. Mm-hmm. I said, did I do something bad? Did I do something wrong? What did I do? Mm-hmm. And what happened? Before going to God or going to church or everything, because many people use God and use the church as a crutch, saying you get an immediate salvation. You can get a salvation, but you have to work it yourself beforehand or while you're in a church. It's not like instant. I had to do a lot of work. I had to see a therapist. I had to see everything. And I had to pull myself that was a long time ago. One of the songs that helped me, I think I brought it up the last time, was the song "The First Cut Is the Deepest," the version by Rod Stewart.
Yes, I love that song. Beautiful.
Cat Stevens wrote it, but what? Cat Stevens was the writer of it.
Okay, I didn't know.
But I heard Cat Stevens' version, but it didn't cut it.
No, Rod Stewart did
I had to hear Rod Stewart's version because Rod Stewart, Rod Stewart was, yes, everything is sad, but the way he sang it, before I get to Rod Stewart, I heard the Sheryl Crow version. Sheryl Crow was like saying, yeah, Sheryl Crow did a version. I heard her version, and it made it sound like, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. Get out of here, it's your fault. So what I did was I heard the Rod Stewart one. Rod Stewart's version of The First Cut Is the Deepest. I heard it in an area called Chrome Avenue. Chrome Avenue is the countryside of Miami. Almost no one goes there. At night. You have to go there during the day. And I was there during the day, hearing it, The First Cut Is the Deepest, 10, maybe 15 times. And Rod Stewart, his version was, yes, everything is terrible, but you're going to get over it. I don't know if it was the melody. I don't know if it was the melody or just the way that he interpreted it, but I heard it many times.
I think it's the way he is singing the message of the song. When you sing, the way you say a word and a line is the way you are expressing it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's how he's expressing it in his tone of voice. That's what you're sensing from the way he's singing.
Yeah. And I sensed it from that. I was like, well, maybe, yes, I will pull out of this. I will pull out of this. I had to hear it so that I would feel a lot better. And still, the Rod Stewart, The First Cut Is the Deepest, helps me.
Beautiful song.
In addition to having helped me when I was divorcing, the song itself helped me in 1980. 1980 was my first use as an 18-year-old. I had a first cousin who died of a liver problem with alcohol. 2 weeks later, I went to go to the physician, and I found out that I have the same problem. In other words, I can't have alcohol. No. Unless I want to die. And I was going through a lot too. In 1980. And there were two songs that cured me. The First Cut Is the Deepest. And then I do have to mention her. I have to mention her. Rest in peace, God bless her. Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, gee.
Olivia Newton-John once recorded a song called... Olivia Newton-John once recorded a song that said, I love you, I honestly love you.
Yes.
That song was dedicated to me in 1980, and it made me feel better. I'm not going to enter into the details, because again, I'm married, and also the girl who dedicated it to me, she made me feel better. Listen to this, and I felt a lot better.
Right.
It sort of cured me, and then later on, The First Cut Is the Deepest, when I was going through the most bitter divorce, helped me.
Helped you through it, yeah.
And then again,
I like how songs can help you through what you're going through.
Mm-hmm. They do.
It's amazing how music can actually cure you from pain, actually.
Of course, it does cure you from pain.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And then 2 years ago, 2020, no, that wasn't it. 2021, I wasn't feeling well either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is sort of thing with it was sort of a family thing. It has nothing to do with my wife. We're just distant relatives. And I felt a little bit bad. And sad because they were going through a lot of pain. And they were in Cuba, they were going through a lot of pain, and I was here going through a lot of pain. It's a Cuban thing, so having the blood. And I was afraid for them. That I can tell you. There was one time that I was so depressed that I was so sad that I couldn't sleep one night.
Oh yeah, it happened. Oh, depression. Sometimes you're just thinking so much in your head
Yeah.
All the negative thoughts and you're overthinking. You remember, negative thoughts are not real.
Yeah, I know.
It's just your mind making it up.
Of course.
But it keeps you can never sleep if your mind keeps going and going and going. Oh yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
It
this
can
is.
definitely keep you up.
Yeah, now I remember 1980 was the thing with Cuba. I had because I have relatives in Cuba, and they were undergoing upheaval and everything. And then now 2021, they were going through the same thing, and I was worried. And one night I couldn't sleep, and I said no. One night I said I can't do this. I have to get a grip. I'm one of those who tried before going to a professional. I try to get a grip. This grip I took was 3 medications, music-wise. Olivia Newton-John, I love you, I honestly love you. Lay your troubles on my shoulder, put your worries in my pocket. The First Cut is the Deepest by Rod Stewart. And then there was another song by an independent artist. This is one reason why I also support many independent artists, including you, Sabrina. There was an independent artist called Tiffany Gassett. She is an artist, she's a country folk rock artist, lives in Tennessee. She recorded a song called Still, which is in the video also. Of course, Still is in the same mentality like The First Cut is the Deepest. The melody and the way the song was delivered.
Right.
If it was delivered another way, I probably would have been sad. But the way she delivered it, I was able to feel a lot better, and I was able to sleep well at night. It is these songs that sort of cured me and said, get a grip on yourself. Nothing's going to happen. Everything is going to be okay.
Exactly.
And everything became okay.
Yeah. In time. Over time, things will get better.
So that's everything and a half. As you said, music makes the best medicine.
I believe so. I believe it does.
And maybe in addition to music, in addition to being kind to each other, we also need more music that elevates our moods, elevates ourselves, makes us feel better. Because right now we're not... I go outside and I see everybody hurting each other, and we shouldn't be doing that. We should be loving each other. Like the song...
Yeah, I know. People are not... Like, even online, like, I don't comment on things, but I see that people are just mean to each other. Like, geez, like, be kind. Like, and people are fighting, and, like, words hurt, man. Like, I know if you're fighting back to be like, stop doing this, stop. By the way, if somebody is bullying you online and you respond, you're fighting with fire, and they're winning. So if somebody's bullying you, just block them, walk away. Don't give them any of your time. Don't let them waste your time, because if you answer them back, then they win. They got you. So.
And I agree with you.
But it all takes from experience. I've answered a lot of people back, and now I know don't answer them back, because it's just gonna get. Even if you answer them back nicely and say, please don't say that. That's mean. It's hurtful. They will answer you back nicely. They don't want you to be nice to them. They're going to attack you even more. So just block them, or if they're really being mean, just report them. Tell somebody's bullying you. Don't be afraid to tell people that you're being hurt, because that's going to cause depression. If you don't get the help early enough, you will get really depressed. Everything in your life that people have hurt you, called you name, be mean to you, will lead to depression if you don't get the help. But also you have to be able to take that step. So nobody's going to force you. But you have to just help you have to want it to help yourself, and it's not easy. So take your time, but stay away from people who hurt you. Block them. You don't even have to tell them. Just walk away. I just walk away from people who hurt me. I don't tell them. I just say, you know what? Fine. Bye.
I've been doing that a lot.
Yeah.
I've been doing it a lot in the internet. I've been doing it since I even first went in the internet.
Me too.
When someone says something to me, I don't answer them. What I do is I block them. I block them because I don't have time for their cyberbullying.
We don't need to. First of all, they're wasting their time to be mean to you. They don't have a life, first of all. While we're on here to help people and to do our business, they're out there to harm us. They just don't have a life. So they're just mad at themselves, so they're throwing it onto us. To help us, we have to block them out. That's what you have to do.
Of course.
And it's not just going to be one person. A lot of people are going to come in. The internet is where all the bad people are because they're hidden. You have to be really careful. And one word can really hurt you. So even if you don't see their face, it hurts. It hurts. Words hurt.
Of course. Words, not just only words, hurt more than guns. Of course, let's get one thing straight. I'm opposed to guns or any forms of violence like knives or anything. But even words can cut and hurt like guns and knives.
Yes, depending on how they're wording it, yes, it can be just as painful as a gun shot.
Especially when some of the bullies try to come up as someone of morally superior, when in reality, like you said, they never had a life. They didn't have anything to do in life. And since they didn't have anything to do with life, they take out their frustrations on those who have been successful.
And they're probably the most saddest person because they have nothing to do. They're probably dealing with family problems, a lot of family problems, bad family problems, and the only way for them to feel better is to be mean to other people because that's how they're being treated.
And many
they're throwing it onto them.
Yeah, and many of them also hold the keys to their happiness. They can get away from the family drama.
Mm-hmm.
I have known people who have had really frustrated lives, were cyberbullies, and because of their parents, and then most of them said, "No, I'm just going to find my own life, and I'm going to leave them behind." 15, 16-year-old, and they do it.
Yeah.
And
they have to, yeah.
And I applaud them.
I feel bad for people who grow up with bad parents, and I'm happy that they walk away because if they don't, they're going to end up just like them. Because you learn from your parents. You grab certain things from your parents. So that's why when you're taking care of a kid, the way you interact with the kid is how the kid is learning to interact back with you. Mm-hmm. So you have to be careful on how you treat people.
Of course. And I do agree with you. And we said, there have been people who have had bad parents and they've left. Another thing that has also contributed to depression many times, I don't know about you, but also the lack of grandparents and great-grandparents have also contributed. Depends on the grandparents as well, because you could also have grandparents that are really mean.
Well, I was very close to my grandpa, and he passed away about a year ago, actually. This is the month he passed away. So, the death was very hard. Yes, I went to deep depression when he passed.
Well, Actually, I never met my grandparents.
I
Go
am
ahead.
I am okay now, just so you guys know. But during that last August was probably the worst month of my life. It was the first death in my family I've ever experienced, so it hit hard. But it's okay. I talk to him every day, and I know he's watching over us, and he's not suffering anymore from his sickness. So
Yeah, I didn't get around to see my grandparents. Again, it's a Cuban thing, being in the States and them being in Cuba, because half of my family was here, half of my family is in Cuba, and and we're talking about. I'm gonna make it a little bit simpler and condensed. In imagine in the 60s and 70s, you could not go to you couldn't see your grandparents because they were in an area in one country that doesn't have any friendships with the country that you live in, and vice versa.
oh yes,
If I was Canadian, I would have probably seen my grandparents, but I was born here. But that's a different issue.
right.
Do you know what it is like to have to go to Europe, to Switzerland, to see your grandfather? He was a biochemist. They didn't allow him to leave Cuba. But somehow, in 1973, he went to a conference in Switzerland. At that time, I was in Germany as an exchange student. I love Germany. I'm not going to deny it. What I mean I loved Germany in 73 was, at that time, it was hippie-ish. Everyone was Jimi Hendrix, Santana, laying the hair down, the whole bit.
Right.
And that was when ABBA and Donna Summers were getting their start. They got their start as hippies there.
Oh yes, I love ABBA. Right.
Yeah, they got their starts as hippies, and everybody was Waterloo, Waterloo, Waterloo. And Mocedales was singing Eres Tú, Touch the Wind. That sort of thing where they had the brotherness and everything. Well, I was in Germany. I had found out in Germany that my grandfather was in Switzerland. This is not just taking a highway and going to Switzerland. Where I was in Germany, I could cross a street. It was like you're in a street, and in one part of the street you're in Germany, you cross the street, you're in Switzerland. And that was that time there were no euros, you had the marks, the German marks and the Swiss francs. So I managed to arrange with other people in my school to cross into Switzerland. 11 years old. An 11-year-old kid doing this. I went to Switzerland, I was there, and I had said, I'm going to find my grandfather. Of course, I didn't go alone. I went with the friends in the exchange school. I could still, one of them was from Poland, one was from Ethiopia, another one was from other countries. And they were there with me. And of course, the headmaster was really, he was very livid. I said, no, I'm going to see, this is the only time I will see him. I spent 3 weeks with my grandfather. And I was able to, I was able to recoup in the exchange student classes. But I was able to see him for 3 weeks in Switzerland. He said, why did you come here? I wanted to see you. I'm not gonna deny that the saying goodbye was very painful. Just like you, I also went over it. My grandfather died about 10 years ago at the age of 100. He died in Cuba. But in 1973, I saw him. We enjoyed life. He showed me everything. Of course, I was at times I was with the other friends where you had the hippiness, the Jimi Hendrix, the ABBA and everything. And my grandfather was very progressive and all of that, even though it was in a dictatorship. Yeah, because remember, my family had to deal with the dictatorships in Cuba and Spain and those times.
Right.
And it's a drama in itself that I've always wanted to cut it, which I did. But I remember when I left my grandfather, he had to go back to Cuba. It was very painful. so painful. Though there was one song that remained edged in my mind until one day I decided to face my fear and get rid of it. The fear of the song. The song Imagine by John Lennon. Many people talked about it. Imagine if there's no heaven, there's no church and everything.
I love that song.
And John Lennon was referring to social justice.
Mm-hmm.
At the age of 11, at an airport in Switzerland, this airport in itself was on the border with France and Germany.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I wasn't thinking if John Lennon was doing social justice. At that time, the song was there, and I had to say goodbye to my grandfather. I could not think about the song and think about the time. How did I get over Imagine? After my divorce, and before I went to church, and before I was able to see my second wife, who was my first girlfriend, I had to clean myself of many things. My wife is from Puerto Rico. God bless Puerto Rico. They didn't have to go through the dictatorships that Cuba and Spain had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because ours was like, they had this drama with the dictatorships. I just simply said,
Mm-hmm.
Dad, forget it. Forget it.
Right.
So that day I sort of took Imagine and heard it 5 times before I got rid of the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Then I also heard Let It Be by the Beatles. I've heard it many times. Let It Be, I even heard it in China. But I heard the Let It Be and listened to and swallowed the verses. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. And I let everything be.
Right.
To be a lot better. It was not easy. But I only saw my grandfather once in 1973. My grandmother, I also saw her only once. This is on my mother's side of the family. My father's side of the family, they never left Cuba. They were very old and they were in wheelchairs and everything. So even if there were no problems, to see them would be like going to the what they call a recreation center for advanced people.
Right.
In other words, they were with dementia and everything. My mother's side of the family, my grandmother, I wanted to see her. She was visiting the United States for the first time in, let me see, 1990. And the first time in 40 years, she visited the United States, and she wanted to see me. My first wife was adamantly opposed to me seeing my grandmother.
Really?
Again, it's another drama that has been. It's been one of those biggest dramas. Cuba has been an island of drama many times. So has Spain. In the past. And it was a drama that I wanted the good part. I didn't want the, I wanted the good part, the hippie part, you know, hey. I didn't want the,
Right.
the hippie part where I bring in, the hippie part where we have other guests that I brought in when I've interviewed you.
Right. Yeah.
But as I was saying, I wanted to see my grandmother, my first wife. No, I don't want you to see her and everything like that. I told her, I'm gonna give you 2 options. I will either see her and we will have problems, but I could care less because I'm not gonna be seeing her because she's going back to Cuba. I will go there and see it. If you want to come with me, fine. If you don't want to come with me, fine also. But I'm gonna go see her.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy into your drama. The second option is, if I don't see her in America, I'm gonna go to Cuba. You can't go to Cuba and everything. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go. You want to? Right there, I sort of stopped everything and I was able to see my grandmother for 2 weeks before she went back to Cuba. She also died in the year 2013 at the tender age of 90. Old age.
Yeah.
Old age in that they said, good night, we're going to go to sleep. The next day, they didn't wake up. When someone you love dies, it also creates a lot of depression.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to, I'm trying to go get a little bit better from my dad's death. My father died in 2020 at the tender age of 98.
Oh.
And my uncle died at the tender age of 75. But I managed to get over my father's death. What really hurted me about my father's death was an era left with him. What was the era? The era in which you were nice to people, helping other people, etc. Now here, I don't know about Canada, but here we become a nation of savages. And my uncle, I miss him a lot. It was like my uncle, the one who died at 75. I miss him a lot because he was like a half a hippie. He had the Volkswagen. When he was younger, and I was in my first youth, like 5, 6, 7 years old. We're talking about the 60s here. When the Beatles were active, the Monkees were active, everybody was active. He had the Volkswagen, he had the multicolored clothes. Your average hippie. And I liked it for it. But I never took advantage either.
Right.
He was very, go ahead and get some chocolate shakes. Enjoy. With the Volkswagen, I went with him. He never wore the sandals. He just simply wore the shoes, and he would dress with the hippie, the whole other thing. My aunt, his wife, was the one who really dressed up as a hippie and everything. Okay, let's go to the ice cream store. Get a shake or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That time. The time of, come on everybody, smile on your brother. They were like that. They were like that. And I love that. I still miss that. I still miss it. Sort of like the mamas and the papas, the Monkees, the whole bit. That's what I miss from them. But just like you, because a person died or because I had to see someone, I had to get over a lot of that too. Divorce, not seeing my grandparents. I always say that when you have grandparents with you, that helps you become like a whole person. You're able to be you're able to interact with others. Not having a grandfatherly figure or a grandmother, that hurts because that does not help the child.
Right.
For whatever reason, when a child does not have access to their grandparents on both sides, because of either the drama of a country or because one person says, no, I'm divorced, I don't want you to see the grandparents of this person, or I don't want you to, that does not help the child. What it actually does is make them more antisocial. I was one of the luckiest one. My part was I couldn't see my grandparents because of these political stupidities that you had in the world. Like the songs from the Beatles, here, there, and everywhere. Here, America, Cuba, and then in Spain. And other areas. I was one of those who said, forget the stupidity. I'm going to see who I'm going to see, and I'm going to enjoy life. But you have to clean yourself a lot to do that. But it's always important to have a grandparents. Always important. I'm also glad that you were able to see your grandparents.
Yeah. My grandma's still alive.
I'm happy for you on that. But I'm also happy that I was able to survive many things.
Yeah.
And still do. And of course with the sense of humor. The way to help you in a depression is a sense of humor. A few days ago I talked with Santalini and Dr. Rob.
Oh, how are they?
They're doing great. They were talking about the great sense of humor. They were lamenting about the depression. But I don't know if Santalini is going to be doing any vacations here along with Dr. Rob. But every time I felt a little bit depressed, they've also come in, and they've always come here. They don't use this. They don't use the cell phone. They come here personally.
Yeah.
But they made me feel better. So as I said, you have to have many things that help you with God, and not God or whatever. Anything that could help you feel better from depression. But the most important thing is we have to be friendly with one another. Help one another. Smile on your brother. Smile on your sister. Treat the animals right. I love how you treat the squirrels and the cats. There's nothing beautiful about it, like having a squirrel.
I love animals. Don't harm them, please.
I know.
Be nice.
One of my best friends when I was a kid was a dog. And you know what? The dog's name was Nipper. Like in the RCA Victor or His Master's Voice. I still think of Nipper many times. I have the photos of him. And my cats, I play with the cats.
Beautiful. All the time.
I've had all the cats. You've seen the photos of the cats. And they're growing. They're really a cure for the depression, for the sadness.
Actually, animals, they say, can help you with depression. So yes, it does work.
And of course, having my wife, my second wife was my first love. I never forgot her. Every time when we were boyfriend and girlfriend, she helped me a lot, many times. She not only played the music that I wanted to help me feel better, but she was there in my good times and in my bad times. And right now, as my second wife, she's there with me always. I don't know what I would have done without her.
That's good. That's good.
I don't know what I would have done without her. And to think that I rediscovered her when we were in the internet.
Destiny.
Probably. Of course, also many musicians and singers. I not only talked about Olivia Newton-John and Rod Stewart, and an independent artist called Tiffany Gassett. There's one other artist. There are two artists also that have helped me. Have also helped me think also. And so they also made me feel better. One of them was Mick Arlekin, who is a Peruvian who lives in Pennsylvania. He plays the rock music that makes you think. And of course there's another artist, another independent artist that I would love to mention that has also helped me a lot better, helped me feel a lot better. And I also hear her music a lot too, and I also have seen her videos. It's an artist, I think it's an artist from Canada. I think her name is Sabrina Fallah.
Oh God. Oh God.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Is it Breakthrough?
I think it's Breakthrough. I use some of your songs when I feel a little bit bad.
That's what they're there for. They're there to help you.
Number one, when I don't have the creativity for my videos. I listen to your music and get the creativities. Also, when I work in my other work, which is a medical doctor in the administrative sphere. In other words, I have to deal with insurance people. Many of the insurance people are really crude. It's like they have never taken classes on how to be, how to behave, how to treat their fellow humans.
Right.
One time I was really angry at one of them, that I blocked them. You don't block someone at work, but I blocked them. And I heard Breakthrough and I felt better. I want to thank you very much for that too.
I'm glad it helped.
Yeah, as we said for depression, music helps. In addition to music, blocking the people who really cause you the problems, getting away from the drama, getting away from the drama, trying to be nice, trying to help other people. Even when you go and help someone without even expecting anything in return, it makes you feel better a lot as well.
Yeah. Also helping people and not asking them to give it. Yeah.
And of course, if you believe in a God or
It's
believe in
also
Buddha
good.
or do yoga, go for it. That also helps too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go for everything. Sabrina, I wanted to thank you for this 1 hour of mental health forum. I wanted to extend it. It's always fun having these mental health forums. But again, I want to reinforce this, letting everybody know, if you have any problems, go and see a mental health professional. And if there are any mental health professionals here to want to come and see and talk about anything, we'll be glad to talk about anything, depression, schizophrenia, you name it, we'll be talking about it. And how to deal with it. I want to thank you for this session of Mental Health Forum, which we're going to be continuing many times.
Yes, I will be back.
You will be back, and you'll be bringing in more mental health forums. We'll see what other ones. This one was depression. So I want to thank you. I also want to thank everybody here.
Yeah, thanks to everybody that tuned in.
My best wishes.
And shared.
Yeah.
And shared some of their.
Please share. We're going to be publishing. We're going to be sharing this with everybody on Instagram, and I'm also going to be sharing it in my YouTube.
Yeah.
Aside from that, the best. And of course, one of your favorite groups has also helped me in depression.
Green Day?
Yes.
You know, they all have suffered panic attacks, anxiety, depression. Basket Case is actually about anxiety, their song. So I didn't know, but if you listen to it, I understood it. But yeah, some of their songs are actually a reflection of their anxiety. And I didn't know they were dealing with it. But as I listened to their music and got to know the band more, I'm like, wow, everybody goes through it. Everybody goes through depression, I think, at least once in their life or get close to it. Because life is very difficult.
Of course.
And that's what brings you down. Because you just don't, some days you just don't understand what's happening. And that's when you realize you are depressed. Because as soon as you say, what's going on, I don't know what's going on, that brings the anxiety and all that.
You can't deny it. You can't hide it under the rug. Deal with it and go forward. And if you can't go forward yourself, get a professional. But I'm gonna go deep into the Green Day songs about this. I'm going to. But they helped me. Mostly they did not help me get out of whatever depression I had. I've had close depressions 3 times, like we've already said in this program and previous programs. But they've helped me sort of like when someone really wanted to get on my nerves, I hear Green Day and then I do the blocking.
You know why?
Why?
Because Green Day doesn't give a about what people think. So it's like they have it in their music. So if you want to be mean to me, get out of my face. That's what they're giving off in their music. They don't care if you like them or not. Go. So that's probably why you're able to block. Is because that's in their message.
Of course.
Oh yeah, they are tough, and they're not acting tough. Nobody messes with Green Day.
I know. I know. That's why they're
so into politics and they're fighting to help the country and people are angry, but they are getting people to think twice, to know what they're doing, and it's working. It's working. They're doing a very good job.
Yeah, I've been trying to get away from the politics because.
Yeah, me too.
I've been trying to get away with it because remember. So most of my problems, and I've had to get rid of it, was due to these politics.
Yeah, that's why I don't write songs about politics.
This is the reason why I do.
Green Day.
This is the reason why
They can do it.
Yeah, this is why I let them do the opinions for me. But that's...
American Idiot album is all about the Bush and everything, by the way.
I know, but this would be... But remember, I had to get away from all of it because remember, half of my problems were what they call... I call it the Cuba and the Spain and America syndrome.
And also dealing with politics and listening to the news all the time can also make you depressed because sometimes it's just so negative you don't want to hear it.
Well, I do listen to news, but I don't listen to that news. You know what type of news I listen to?
Yeah.
The independent news. The independent news, the Green Day news, the way they sing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The independent artist news.
Right. The healthy, good news you want to hear, not the negative, sad stuff that,
I'm even listening to news on how to improve my diet.
Well, that is positive.
And in addition, as I said, I've cut back on meats, I've cut back on many things. So...
Eat more chicken.
I'm doing that, and also doing a lot more chicken. And of course...
And veggies.
That too. So that's the type of news that I'm listening to. And of course, the news of the musicians and also the news of which is very some of the comic newses, some of the news of the things that are really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Those I get from Santalini. He's going to be making piña coladas this Thanksgiving.
It's coming.
I know.
We're not that far from Halloween.
I know. He's bringing in Dr. Rob. He's going to bring in what else? He's going to bring in Dr. Rob.
I'm excited for Halloween because Hocus Pocus 2 comes out in September.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm also planning a Halloween special. That's another thing that helped me get rid of my depression. Which I don't have, but not depression, but sad moods. When people say Halloween is a thing of the devil, a thing of this and thing of that, I die laughing. Halloween for me is a celebration of living.
Some people don't like Halloween, but I just say Halloween is the day to be whoever the hell you want to be. And just have fun with it. You don't have to look into the history of Halloween. Because I know there's a history about it, which I don't want to go into. But just have fun.
The only history of Halloween that I do remember was in the States, Ohio. There was a person called the Ghoul, and he did slapsticks and everything with the vampire, with the Frankenstein, and he also had the Three Stooges and the Munsters. In these series of Halloween. Here in Miami, we had Halloween specials in which people dressed up as pharaohs, princess, and what have you. And then Spain and in Venezuela, in other eras, they had people dressed up as Frankenstein, or the Renaissance, the whole bit. There was one Colombian actress, whose name I'm not going to mention. She dressed up as Maid Marian. And her boyfriend dressed up as Robin Hood. It was very beautiful. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when Santalini comes along.
Yeah.
I just simply let's see what he does with the piña colada. Oh my. So I just want to thank you for everything, Sabrina. And we'll be here next month for more mental health.
Definitely.
It was an honor having you here. You take it easy, Sabrina.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. And best wishes.
Bye.
Bye.